I am fresh off the heels of speaking at a conference in Boston for hospitality professionals. I talked all about the power of video marketing, and I think there are just so many amazing opportunities in that space specifically. So it was really fun. But that's actually not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about public speaking and how you can use it to generate leads for your business. I can use it to improve your own confidence, get more comfortable speaking about your business, and it can just be a lot of fun. So let's dive into my best public speaking tips. All right, so first, while you are preparing your speech or your talk, you want to make sure that you choose a topic that you could talk about all day long, of course. That's the same advice I'd give you when it comes to starting a YouTube channel or creating content. You want to make sure that it's something that you're knowledgeable about, that you have lots of examples to share, that you feel really confident speaking about, etc. But something that I did over this, really I started doing this past year, is I added on my speaking page, I added the specific topics that I'm happy to talk about. Because in the past, when I was first getting started, I would often just be very reactive. If a conference organizer would reach out and say, hey, Latasha, could you talk about AI and marketing? I'd be like, sure, I'll figure it out. Even if that's not necessarily something that is, I'm super passionate about, super knowledgeable about, or have an offer to go alongside with. So now I say, hey, here are the 3 topics that I really am passionate about, knowledgeable about, and, so on. And that way they can choose from those. Now, of course, if there was a great opportunity, if Oprah reaches out and asks me to talk about something specific, I'm going to do something custom. But in general, when people ask me what I'm happy to speak about, I can just share those few topics. So I definitely recommend doing that as well. Now, when it comes to putting together the slides, I'm often asked, how do I know if I have too many slides, not enough slides? And I follow some variation, I guess, of this model that Guy Kawasaki came up with. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and it's called the 10-20-30 rule. So what this calls for is no more than 10 slides, no more than 20 minutes of presentation, and no less than 30-point font. Now, of course, we have to pay attention to what the conference organizers want from us. And in most cases, my experience has been that they want longer than 20 minutes. Most of the talks that I've given have been more like 40 minutes, sometimes up to 60. This one that I just did in Boston actually was quite short. It was only a 30-minute slot. So I plan to speak for between 20 to 25 minutes and have a few minutes of Q&A at the end. But you get the idea. You don't want it to be way, way over that, because a big mistake that I certainly made when I was first starting is I would just overpack my slides. One, I'd put way too much information on the slides. That's what that 30-point font helps with. One, so people can see it, but also so that you have limited space for words, that you're not just writing a whole script onto your slides. But I would also make too many slides. Too many slides can make it really overwhelming for your audience, and it can also just encourage you to use it as a script. So you're just up there reading off your confidence monitor, reading off your computer, wherever you're presenting from, as opposed to moving around and really having a conversation. I actually had a kind of a nightmare experience in Dallas a couple years ago. It was nobody's fault. I'm not mad at the conference or anything like that. I did have my stuff in as needed. I got my slides in advance. I had them on a USB. I had all the things. But you know what? Mistakes happen, and they just stopped working when I was on stage. So we'll talk about them in a second. But first, I want to hear a little bit about you. Let's see. Oh, the screen kind of went white there. And this was a horrifying experience for me. But I'm actually really glad it happened for 2 reasons. One, because I was able to continue the show. I actually didn't need my slides to keep talking. They did end up coming back about 10 minutes later, but I did do part of my talk just talking to the audience. I'll just ask verbally really quick if we can just get a show of hands. And so the reason I bring this up is because you should be building your presentations in a way that you don't really need your slides. They're just visual aids. They're just there to help. And the second reason I'm really glad it happened is because nothing can be worse than that, unless I maybe fall off the stage, knock on wood. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, every time I go on stage now, I'm like, probably won't be worse than Dallas. My next tip is to make it easy for attendees to get in touch with you. One of my favorite ways to do this is by using a QR code. Thanks QR Tiger for working with me on today's video and letting me use their tool for my recent slides in Boston. So what I did is at the end of the presentation, that's where you always share like, hey, follow me on social, here's my website, whatever. And that's great. I did that. I put like my @username for most of my socials and my website down at the bottom of my final slide. But I also added a QR code. QR codes have really increased in popularity since 2020 or so, since everyone got used to using them on menus and stuff. You just scan it with your phone and it brings you directly to a website as opposed to them having to type it in. So it's really, really easy. And you can do this in a lot of different ways. What I did in Boston is I sent this directly to my contact page, latashajames.com/contact. It's just a lead form or a contact form. People can decide, how they want to work with me and reach out with their email address and a message if they want to. And I just said at the end of my presentation, hey, if you're thinking about a long form video content strategy, I have a ton of ideas for your industry in particular. I'd love to have a chat about it. You don't even need to send me a detailed message. Just go ahead and pop in your email address and say, hey, I'm coming from this particular event, and I'll reach out as soon as I get back to the office on Monday. And that was a great way to just start conversations, open up discovery calls, and just start, shaking hands, virtual hands with people. You could also link this over to a specific offer that you might have if you have something that you want to sell or a book or something like that. Or if I had more time to prepare for this talk, I really only had about a month or so, but if I had more time, I might actually create a freebie, a lead magnet. So I could link that over to, a free ebook or free class or something like that. So you can get really creative with it. QR Tiger is an amazing tool. It's super easy to create these QR codes. All you need is the website that you're going to drive traffic to. You paste that website, and then you're able to customize the QR code, how it actually looks. So you can customize the color, the shape, or the format of the QR code. You can decide if you want a background or if you want it to be a transparent, image file, whatever you want to do. And then you simply download the image file and insert it into your presentation, just like you would any other image. And boom, it's good to go. We totally are living in the future. And I love it. You could also use this on business cards if you wanted to. You could use it on merch if you wanted to have a hoodie or t-shirt. I mean, there are so many different ideas I have for using this. So it's a great way to get your stuff in front of the right people. So I'll leave a link in the description box if you want to check them out. Supporting the sponsors of this channel also helps support this channel. So I thank you for doing so. And I hope you enjoy it. It's a fun one. Let's talk about preparing. You've got your, slides ready. How do you actually get ready to feel good about giving this talk? Well, practice. Practice really does make perfect. The more you practice, the better it's going to sound. I know that's not the thing everyone wants to hear because it takes time, but it really does help to practice. And in particular, I always like to practice with an audience. This can be one person or a couple people, or even a camera if you don't have, a friend, a partner, a colleague who is willing to sit there and listen to you give this talk. Record onto your camera. That will enable you to see how you are appearing. Obviously, that's what a camera does. I know there are certain little mannerisms that we all have, and sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're obnoxious and they distract people from what you're trying to say. So something that I do is I will sometimes rock back and forth, and moving around the stage is good. You definitely want to do that. It's more engaging. It makes you appear more confident and all that. But rocking back and forth is more of that nervous, anxious energy. So you don't want that. Knowing that's something that I default to when I'm feeling a little nervous, I go on stage and I just keep that in mind, and I try my best to turn that into a different movement when I can. I know there's a lot that we have to worry about when we're on stage. Sometimes I still do it, whatever, but just being aware of those things is really helpful. Okay, let's talk about day of. Well, actually, before you get there, especially if you're traveling there, make sure to pack a power outfit. I know this might sound very superficial, a little vain, whatever, but seriously, when you have clothes that you feel good in, that you feel confident in, that you look good in, that you're not worried about, things falling out or squeezing too tight or, whatever, you just appear more confident. I don't think I've ever gotten more compliments on an outfit that I have this past week. So huge thank you to those who follow me on Instagram and were hyping me up. I really appreciate it. And I think it helped me appear even more confident on stage. I wore this chartreuse suit, just a pantsuit. I wanted something that was going to be comfortable. I wanted to wear something that was a little springy, different than my normal black, and just something that fit me really, really good. I'm pretty like confident, but we all have areas of our body that we're not like the most confident about, or that we don't, that we're a little more self-conscious about, especially when you're standing on a stage in front of hundreds of people. So find whatever that outfit is for you. It doesn't have to be expensive. I also always like to wear some jewelry that is fun. So I always wear these bracelets that my mom and I made that have little like affirmations. They say boss, work hard, be kind. I love them so much. Nobody really sees these, but it's nice for me to just kind of like do some self-soothing before I go on stage and look at those affirmations. In addition to looking good, feeling good, when it comes to delivery, I had a big mindset shift about this recently, actually. I used to think of talks as like these big, huge things that I need to impress somebody and I need to be good enough and all that stuff. And like, remember that they asked you to come for a reason. You are good enough. You're good enough. They wanted you. Yes, you want to do a good job. Yes, you want to, make sure that the people watching and listening are learning and taking something away from it. But also your presence was requested, like you are wanted. So keep that in mind. Second, just try to think of it as, for me, I think of it as a YouTube video. I'm like, you know what? I'm just recording a YouTube video or recording a live podcast, which, side note, is something I would love to do, is do like a live podcast recording someday. That would be so fun, like an event, But anyway, the only difference is that instead of just talking to one single camera lens like I am right now, I'm talking to like hundreds of little camera lenses, essentially. And that really helped me. For you, if you're not a YouTuber, content creator, that might not land quite as well, but maybe just think of it as like, I'm talking to a friend. This is how I would teach my friend if they asked me about video or whatever topic you're talking about. Or this is how I would hop on a Zoom call with my client and educate them. So just try to reframe your mindset a little bit. Like, this isn't any different. You do this all the time. If you're a business owner, you probably do this all the time. You educate, you teach, you talk to your clients all the time. So it shouldn't feel much different. Last tip. When you get home, make sure to always thank the organizer, especially if you want to speak at this event, this conference. Again, the reason for that is obvious, but even if you don't, just be a nice person. These events take so much work, so much money to put together. They really do. I've worked on the event side before, and even just creating small events for groups of 50 or so influencers was so expensive, so time consuming, so exhausting, so rewarding, but it is a lot of work. So always thank the people who helped you. You never know where they're going to be either. Maybe you don't want to speak at that specific event again, but maybe, they work at this small event in New York City. Next year, they're going to be working at South by Southwest or Social Media Marketing World or whatever conference you want to speak at. You never know. Like, people move around, they change jobs, they talk to each other. So you always want to leave a good impression and just give a genuine thank you. And something I always like to add to my genuine thank you is a couple of suggestions or recommendations for future speakers if I have them. So the whole time I was at this hospitality event, I was thinking of a couple of clients, friends that I had that work in that space in particular. They work with venues or restaurants or, bridal industry, whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, they need to be here. They need to be giving a talk next year. And obviously I can't make any guarantees. I'm just one person, but I think it's great to pay it forward and share those names, share those recommendations to help, other people rise alongside you as well. And it also helps the organizers, because if the organizers next year are going to be starting from scratch, looking for another marketer to talk to this audience, well, now they have a couple of recommendations of people who were vetted by a speaker that hopefully they think already did a good job. So it makes their jobs easier again, which at the end of the day also looks good for you. All right, so I think that's it. Those are my best tips for giving talks and speeches. Let me know if you have any that you'd like to share with the community. Leave them down below if you do. And again, thank you to QR Tiger for working with me today. I love their tool. It's an amazing, simple thing that you can do. Just add it to the end of your slides, add it to your business card, put it on a t-shirt, and watch those leads start to come in, those connections start to be made. It's really, really helpful. I'll leave a link for you to check them out down in the description as well. Thank you so much for being here today. Subscribe if you're new, comment, like the video if you don't mind, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.